Captain John Miller stood as the Earth Alliance ship's airlock, asterisk of solitude, opened. The metallic smell of the Galactic Council station filled his nostrils. This was humanity's greatest moment, its first official meeting with the Council of 12 alien species that ruled most of the known galaxy. Remember, John told his small team, we're here to make friends, not enemies. The team nodded. They have trained for this moment for years. Earth only discovered faster-than-light travel 15 years ago, making them newcomers to a galaxy where some species had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. A blue-skinned alien with 4 arms stepped forward. Welcome to Alpha Municipal Station. I am Coordinator Zeal. Please follow me. John and his team walked down wide hallways. Strange beings of all shapes and sizes moved around them. Some floated instead of walking. Others had too many members to count. The humans tried not to look, but it was hard not to. They entered a huge round room. 12 raised platforms formed a circle, each with a different alien representative. In the center was a smaller platform, clearly intended for humans. The council recognizes the representatives of planet Earth, announced a tall, thin alien with silver skin that seemed to glow in the light. John climbed onto the platform. His heart was beating fast, but his voice remained steady. On behalf of all humans, I thank you for this welcome. We came in search of friendship and knowledge. A booming laugh came from one of the platforms. It belonged to a reptilian being with red scales and yellow eyes. Kestok, ambassador of the Vexari Empire. The Vexari were known for being the most militaristic species on the council. How charming, said Kestok, with sharp teeth shining. The babies of the galaxy want friendship. Tell me, human, how many wars have your species fought against each other? John hesitated. Earth's history has been filled with conflict. We have had many wars, but we have learned from them. Now we value peace. This caused Kestok to lie more. Several other board members joined. Humans don't like war. Kestok sneered, looking at his fellow board members. They value peace. How will they survive in this galaxy? The laughter got louder. John felt his face heat up, but he kept his expression neutral. During his military training on Earth, he learned to hide his emotions. Now this skill was proving useful. We come offering trade and cultural exchange. John continued, ignoring the mockery. Earth has a lot to offer. The silver-skinned alien raised his hand, and the laughter slowly subsided. Captain Miller, the council appreciates your diplomacy. However, you must understand that in this galaxy strength is respected above all else. John nodded. We understand that strength takes many forms. Kestok snorted. Nice words. But when the swarms of Drozak arrive, or when pirates attack your colonies, will nice words protect you? I don't think so. We hope for peace, but we are prepared for alternatives. John said carefully. Enough, said the silver alien. Let us proceed with the formal presentations. Over the next 2 hours, each council member introduced themselves and their species. John listened carefully, noting which ones seemed friendly and which ones didn't. After the meeting, John's second-in-command, Lieutenant Paul Green, approached him in a quiet hallway. Everything went well, Paul said sarcastically. John shook his head. They still don't respect us, but they will. The irritation seemed particularly hostile, Paul noted. Yes, John agreed. We should send a message to Admiral Carter. Tell her to watch the shame carefully. As they returned to the ship, John went over the history of the Earth. Humans have indeed fought countless wars against each other. They became very good at war. Too good. This is why they now valued peace so much. But if these aliens thought humans were weak because they preferred peace, they were making a dangerous mistake. They think we don't like war because we fear it, John said calmly to himself. They don't understand that we avoid this because we know exactly what we are capable of. The asterisk of solitude asterisk prepared to depart the station. His first diplomatic mission was complete, but John had the feeling that this was just the beginning of a much longer story. Admiral Susan Carter frowned as she read Captain Miller's report at the Galactic Council meeting. She was sitting in her office at Earth Alliance headquarters, a tall building in what used to be called Washington, D.C., outside her window. Flying cars moved between buildings in organized rows. So the shamers think we are weak, she said to herself. She spent 30 years in Earth's military and knew what happened to those who seemed weak. Your computer beeped. Admiral, we have new information regarding embarrassing movements. Send it over the loudspeaker. Show me, Susan ordered. A 3D map appeared above his desk. It showed vexatious ships moving towards human colonies on the limits of Earth's territory. That doesn't look good, Susan muttered. Immediately call a meeting with the Defense Council. Meanwhile, at a research station orbiting Jupiter, scientist Alan Patterson made a discovery that sent shivers down his spine. He was studying ancient alien signals when he found something alarming. Computer, run this translation again, Alan said, pushing his glasses up his nose. The computer displayed text on its screen. Species hashtag 4721 deleted. The peaceful nature simplified the conquest. Moving on to the next target. Alan dug deeper and found more messages like this. They belonged to a hidden archive of humiliating military records. Records showed that the Sham had a pattern of targeting peaceful species that had recently joined the Galactic Council. I need to warn Earth, Alan said, immediately sending a secure message to Admiral Carter. Back at Council Station Alpha, John Miller was having dinner with representatives of other species when his communications device rang. He excused himself and found a quiet corner to read the message from Earth. Vexatious ships approaching our outer colonies. Intelligence suggests hostile intent. Return immediately. Admiral Carter. John frowned. This confirmed his worst fears about the embarrassment. As he prepared to leave, a small, purple-skinned alien approached him. Captain Miller, I'm Elsie, from the Arisian Federation. The alien said in a soft voice. I must warn you. Shame sees his people as his next conquest. Why are you telling me this? Asked Joao. Because my people were once like yours. Elsie explained. We value peace. Disgrace took 3 of our worlds before we could mount a defense. We now exist as your servants. John thanked Elsie for the warning and hurried back to the ship. The asterisk of loneliness immediately left for Earth. During the trip home, John received Alan Patterson's findings on the history of the shameful elimination of peaceful species. This is worse than we thought, John told his crew. The Vexers don't just mock peace-loving species. They target them. When the asterisk of loneliness arrived on Earth, John went straight to a meeting with Admiral Carter and other military leaders. He shared everything he learned. The Shamers think we are easy targets. Susan said in front of a large screen showing IWalk maps of human territory. They are moving ships towards our colonies on Alpha Centauri, Proxima, and TRAPPIST-2. What is our response? Asked General Frank Davis, a man with gray hair and a stern face. We could try to negotiate. A diplomat named Laura Hayes suggested. Admiral Carter shook her head. Embarrassment only respects strength. If we look weak now, they will take everything. I agree, said John. Based on what I've seen from the Council and the information we've gathered, the shaming will not stop unless it is forced. So we have no choice. Susan decided. We activate the Omega Protocol. The room fell silent. The Omega Protocol was created years ago as a last resort plan in case of aggression. It meant revealing military capabilities that Earth kept hidden from the galactic community. Are we ready for this? Lore asked, worry in his voice. Admiral Carter's expression was grim but determined. We've been preparing for this possibility since we first looked at the stars. The Shamers think that humans don't like war. They're about to learn why. The human colony on Proxima was at peace the day the Shame struck. Farmers tended their crops under the orange sky. Children played in fields covered in strange grass. Nobody expected danger. Red flashes appeared in the sky. Vexery warships, 20 of them, positioned themselves above the colony's main settlement. Their weapons fired without warning. Buildings exploded. People ran screaming. The colony's small defense force attempted to fight back, but were no match for the vexatious fleet. Similar attacks happened at the same time on 2 other human colonies. Vexation attacked hard and fast, expecting little resistance. News of the attacks reached Earth within hours. Videos showed the destruction and deaths. More than 2,000 humans were killed. At the Earth Alliance Emergency Command Center, Admiral Susan Carter watched the reports with an impassive expression. All around him, military officers and government officials spoke in urgent voices. They hit all 3 colonies at once, said General Frank Davis. Classic shaming tactics. Strike hard, create fear, then offer terms that favor them. President William Clark, a tall man with tired eyes, looked at Admiral Carter. What are our options, Susan? We have activated all of our hidden defense systems, she replied. We have had weapons platforms disguised as research stations near all of our colonies. They seem harmless, but they have great firepower. Will it be enough? The president asked. Not to win immediately, Susan admitted, but enough to surprise them and buy time. The president nodded. Do it and contact the Galactic Council. They need to know what the shame did. Diplomat Laura Hayes was tasked with taking Earth's claim to the Council. She arrived at Alpha Council Station the next day and stood before the 12 alien representatives. Shame attacked 3 human colonies without warning or provocation. Laura declared, her voice firm despite her anger. More than 2,000 civilians are dead. The Earth demands justice. The council members shifted uncomfortably. The vexatious representative, Kistok, showed his sharp teeth in what could have been a smile. Humans have entered territory that the vexatious empire has claimed for centuries. Kistok said, we simply protect what is ours. That's a lie, Laura countered. These colonies were established with council approval in unclaimed spaces. The Silverskin Council leader raised his hand. The council presents its thoughts and concerns about the human losses. We will form a committee to study this dispute. Laura couldn't believe what you were hearing. A committee? While our people are dying. Council procedures must be followed, the leader said firmly. Laura looked at the alien faces. Some seemed sympathetic, but none defended the Earth. She realized then that the council would do nothing. The shame was too powerful and humans were too new to galactic politics. The Earth will remember those who were with us in times of need, said Laura. And who didn't? She left the council chamber, anger burning within her. Back at the colony on Proxima, the vexing ground forces disembarked, expecting to find only frightened survivors. Instead, they found human soldiers waiting for them, using weapons that Shame had never seen before. The Colonial Defense Force hid its best soldiers and equipment. Now they fought with surprising skill and determination. Commander Steve Bennett led a group of 30 soldiers against a much larger vexatious force. They used the colony's buildings and surrounding forest as cover, attacking quickly and then disappearing. They said that humans don't like war. Steve told his troops as they prepared another ambush, let's show them how wrong they are. On Earth, Admiral Carter received the first reports from the colonies. Hidden defense platforms had destroyed 3 vexatious ships and ground. Forces were responding effectively. It's time for Phase 2, Susan told her officers. The Shamers think they know what humans are capable of. They have no idea. She pressed a button on her desk, sending a coded signal to military bases across Earth and the entire solar system. The ships disguised as freighters revealed their true nature. Weapons factories hidden underground increased production. Earth was going to war. The shelves of the vexatious admiral were on the bridge of his flagship, the Conqueror *. His yellow eyes narrowed as he watched the battle unfold. 3 of their ships were destroyed by hidden human defense platforms. This was unexpected. After all, these humans have some fight inside them. He growls at his second-in-command, but that won't save them. A communications officer approached. Admiral, we've intercepted strange signals from Earth. Your military is being activated system-wide. Shrax laughed. Let them. Their technology is primitive compared to ours. On Mars, in what appeared to be a simple mining operation, Colonel Jane Wilson watched huge doors open in the red soil. Giant ships emerged from underground hangars. These were Earth's true warships, kept hidden from alien eyes until now. All ships report readiness, his assistant said. Jane nodded. Tell them to move out. Operation Awakening has begun. Similar scenes occurred throughout Earth's solar system. On the Moon, Jupiter's moons, even the asteroid belt, hidden bases have revealed their true nature. Ships, weapons, and soldiers that no alien knew existed were prepared for war. President Clark addressed all humanity in a system-wide broadcast. For 15 years, we explored space peacefully, he said. We hoped to find friends among the stars. Instead, we discover that the galaxy is a dangerous place where the strong prey on the weak. The Vexari attacked our colonies because they thought we were weak. They were wrong. He paused, his face grim. Since we first reached the stars, Earth has been preparing for this day. We only show the galaxy our peaceful face, but we never stop preparing for war. Now the Vexari will learn what happens when you attack humanity. Across the solar system, humans applauded their leader's words. The long deception is over. Earth would now show its true strength. In his laboratory on Jupiter's moon Europa, Alan Patterson worked frantically with a team of scientists. They had been studying Vexari technology for years in secret. Now they were finalizing weapons specifically designed to counter Vexery shields and armor. Final tests are complete, Allen told Admiral Carter through a secure channel. The phase disruptors worked perfectly against his shield technology. Good job, Susan replied. Get these weapons to our ships immediately. On Proximab, human defenders continued to hold off Vexery ground forces. Commander Steve Bennett and his troops used their knowledge of the terrain and surprising tactics to confuse the enemy. They fight like wild animals, a Vexery officer complained to his troops. No honor, no proper battle formations. We fight to win, Steve said as his team ambushed another Vexery patrol. Don't look good doing it. Back at Council Station Alpha, diplomat Laura Hayes secretly met with representatives of smaller alien species. Many of them have suffered Vexery assaults in the past. Earth is reacting, Laura told them. We invite anyone who wants to join us. A small green alien named Drix spoke. The Vexery crushed my people centuries ago. We will provide information about your fleet movements. Others made similar offers. Not everyone could fight, but many could help in other ways. For the first time, someone stood up to the Vexery, and it gave them hope. In deep space, Captain John Miller commanded Earth's first battle fleet. 20 warships, elegant and powerful, advanced towards Vexery territory. Their mission is to attack the enemy's supply lines. The Vexery think they know human warfare from our history books. John told his crew. They studied how we fought each other, but we spent centuries thinking about how we would fight aliens if necessary. His ship, now renamed from *Solitude* to *Retribution*, led the fleet towards their target, an important Vexery supply depot. They made fun of us for not liking war, John said calmly. They're about to find out why we try so hard to avoid it. The human counterattack had begun. The sleeping giant was awake, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Vexery supply depot orbited a small moon in a distant star system. It was a huge station, protected by energy shields and a fleet of 10 warships. The Vexery considered it completely safe from attack. They were wrong. Captain John Miller's fleet approached using a tactic no alien race had seen before. Human ships launched thousands of small metallic objects into space, creating a cloud of debris. Then they hid within this cloud, becoming invisible to Vexery sensors. All ships maintained position. John ordered, "Wake up on my signal." On his bridge, John watched the enemy ships. They noticed the cloud of debris but thought it was just space junk. They didn't realize the danger until it was too late. "All ships, attack pattern Delta," John ordered. The human fleet burst from the debris cloud, firing its weapons at the surprised Vexery ships. The new phase disruptors cut through the Vexery shields as if they weren't even there. 3 enemy ships exploded before they could even return fire. The others tried to form a defensive line, but the human ships moved in unpredictable patterns, making them difficult to hit. "Direct your engines," John ordered. "Don't let someone escapes to warn the others." In 20 minutes, the battle was over. All 10 Vexery ships were destroyed. The supply depot, now defenseless, surrendered to the humans. The news of this victory quickly spread throughout human space. For the first time, humans defeated the Vexery in a great battle. People celebrated in the streets of Earth cities, but Admiral Carter remained serious. "A victory does not win a war," she told her officers. "The Vexery will respond with everything they have." Elsewhere in space, Commander Eric Thompson led a Special Forces team on a dangerous mission. Their target was a Vexery communications center that coordinated the movements of the enemy fleet. Eric and his team of 12 soldiers wore advanced stealth suits that hid them from Vexery sensors. They moved through the enemy station like ghosts, placing explosives at key points. "It's not just about blowing up their station," Eric told his team. "It's about making them afraid. They need to feel like we can attack anywhere, anytime." When the explosives detonated, they didn't just destroy the station. They sent a message to all nearby Vexery ships. "Humans are watching. No place is safe." Back on Earth, Dr. Olivia Martinez worked with military leaders. She was not a soldier, but a historian specializing in Earth's many wars throughout history. The Vexery fight like the ancient Romans, Olivia explained to a room full of generals. They use overwhelming force and structured formations. Their weak point is that they do not adapt quickly to new situations. She showed them historical battles in which smaller, more flexible forces defeated larger, more rigid armies. We need to be like the Mongols against the Chinese, the Finns against the Russians, the Vietnamese against the Americans, she said. We must use our knowledge of the dark history of war to our advantage. The generals listened attentively. For centuries, humans have tried to move beyond their violent past. Now that past can save them. In the Galactic Council, the mood has changed. News of human victories against the supposedly invincible Vexari shocked many species. Ambassador Kiztok was no longer mocking humans. These primitives must be stopped, he hissed at the council. They fight without honor, without proper battle formations. They use tricks and deception. The silver-skinned council leader looked thoughtful, or perhaps they were simply fighting to win, using their strengths against their weaknesses. Other council members whispered among themselves. Some began to wonder if they had underestimated these humans. On Proxima, the tide of battle has turned. Commander Steve Bennett's forces received reinforcements and new weapons. Now they pushed the Vexari invaders back. They expected us to surrender, Steve told his troops as they prepared to attack Vexari's main base. They thought that because we value peace, we wouldn't know how to fight. He looked at his soldiers, men and women who had been farmers and teachers just a few weeks ago. Now they were warriors, defending their homes with surprising skill. Let's show them that humans don't like war, not because we're bad at it, Steve said, but because we're too good at it. After 3 weeks of war, the Vexari no longer laughed at humans. They lost 27 ships and 4 space stations. Their invasion forces on human colonies were being repulsed. For the first time in centuries, the powerful Vexari Empire lost battles. In his private quarters on the Vexari homeworld, Supreme Commander Gurktaz broke a table with his fist. His red scales darkened with anger. How are these primitives defeating us? He shouted at his generals. They've only been in space 2 decades. A brave general spoke. Sir, they fight unlike any species we've encountered. They do not follow traditional battle patterns. They use deception, surprise, and psychological warfare. So we must adapt. Gurktaz growled. Gather our entire fleet. We will crush these humans with a massive attack on their home world. At Council Station Alpha, something unexpected was happening. Representatives of smaller alien species were secretly meeting with Laura Hayes. They were impressed by the human successes against the Vexari. My people have technology that could help Earth, said Drix, the little green alien. We were too afraid to use it against the Vexari, but you humans gave us courage. Others made similar offers. The Arisian Federation promised medical supplies. The Zenther Collective offered advanced sensor technology. Slowly, a secret alliance was forming around the Earth. Laura was careful not to show too much excitement. The Earth appreciates any help in our fight for survival, she said diplomatically. And we promise to remember our friends when this war is over. Meanwhile, Captain John Miller's fleet joined forces at the Jupiter defense bases. They were preparing for their biggest mission yet. An attack on the main base of the Vexari fleet in the Orion sector. John studied the enemy position on his command screen. They have reinforced their defenses since our last victories, he told his officers. This won't be as easy as the supply depot. Colonel Jane Wilson, who had brought the Mars fleet to join him, nodded. They are learning from their defeats. This makes them more dangerous. Then we'll need to try something they don't expect, said John. He hatched a bold plan that made some of his officers nervous. This is extremely risky, Captain, Jane pointed out. John smiled grimly. The Vexari think they are learning how we fight. Let's show them that we still have more surprises. Back on Earth, Admiral Carter received a disturbing report. Vexari spy drones have been detected throughout the solar system, collecting information about Earth's defenses. They are planning something big, Susan told President Clark during an emergency meeting. Possibly an all-out attack on Earth itself. The president seemed worried but determined. How ready are we? We have activated all our defenses, Susan replied. But a direct attack on Earth would cause an enormous number of civilian casualties. Draws, even if we win. So we need to prevent this attack. The president decided. How quickly can we implement Operation Thermopylae? Susan's eyes widened slightly. It has not been fully tested, sir. But given the circumstances, we could have it ready in 3 days. Do it, ordered the president. If the Vexari want to come to Earth, we will make sure they never leave. In the deep space between Earth and Vexari territory, something strange was happening in the asteroid belt of an uninhabited star system. Human ships moved between the asteroids, attaching devices to the larger rocks. Engineer Ben Foster floated outside his ship, attaching another device to a huge asteroid. These gravity manipulators will turn these rocks into the greatest weapons in human history, he told his team over the radio. Commander Lily Robinson oversaw the operation on her ship. The Vexery will expect missiles, energy weapons, and combat ships, she said. They won't expect us to throw mountains at them. On Proxima, human forces have completely driven out the Vexery. Commander Steve Bennett stood on a hill overlooking the main colony, now being rebuilt after the fighting. A communication came from Earth. Steve listened and then turned to his second-in-command with a dark expression. The Vexery are assembling their entire fleet for an attack on Earth, he said. This war is about to enter its final phase. His officer looked worried. Can Earth withstand such an attack? Steve looked up at the stars. The Vexery think they know what humans are capable of. They are about to learn that we have only just begun to fight. The Vexery attack fleet was enormous. More than 200 warships have gathered at their forward base, preparing to jump to Earth. It was the largest fleet the Vexery had assembled in centuries. Admiral Zrax addressed the captains of his ships via a system-wide broadcast. Humans have surprised us with their tricks and deceptions, he admitted, but now they will face the full power of the Vexery Empire. Their home world will burn, and they will learn their place in the galaxy. The Vexery captains roared their approval. None of them noticed the stealthy little human probe observing their fleet. On Earth, humanity prepared for the coming storm. Cities built underground shelters. Orbital defense platforms prepare their weapons. Every ship that could fight was put into position. In the main command center beneath the Rockies, Admiral Susan Carter watched the movements of the enemy fleet on a large display. They will be here in less than 48 hours, she told President Clark and his assembled officers. Operation Thermopylae is ready. We have placed gravity manipulators on more than 50 large asteroids in their expected path. What if they don't go that way? Asked a worried general. Then we'll fight them from ship to ship, Susan said simply. Either way, humanity will not fall easily. In space, Captain John Miller's fleet took up positions in the asteroid field between Mars and Jupiter. The asteroids were carefully arranged using the gravity manipulators, creating a narrow path that the Vexery would have to follow to reach Earth. All ships, take positions behind the larger asteroids, John ordered. Remember, we need to keep the Vexery focused on us, not the asteroids themselves. His ship, the Asterisk of Retribution, was hidden behind a huge rock nearly a kilometer wide. Around him, 50 other human ships did the same, each ready to spring the trap. On a special command ship at the edge of the solar system, Commander Lily Robinson monitored gravity manipulators. All devices are running at full power. She reported to Admiral Carter, "We can move the asteroids under your command." Hours passed. Tension grew among Earth's defenders. Then sensors lit up with warnings. Vexery fleet detected, called an officer into the command center. They are entering the solar system now. Susan leaned forward. Are they following the path we set? Yes, Admiral, they are taking a direct route to Earth, passing through the asteroid field. Susan allowed herself a small smile. Great. Now we wait until they are fully committed. The massive Vexery fleet moved through space with confidence. Their sensors detected the human ships hidden among the asteroids, but they were not concerned. Their numbers were overwhelming. Admiral Zrax watched from his flagship. Humans think they can ambush us, he said with amusement. Let them try. The Vexery ships entered the asteroid field with weapons at the ready. The human fleet suddenly emerged from hiding and attacked, drawing the Vexery deeper into the field. Admiral, called Captain John Miller of the Asterisk Retribution Asterisk, the Vexery fleet is in position. We suffered great damage keeping them busy. Susan nodded grimly, starting the thermopyle operation. Commander Lily Robinson activated the gravity manipulators. On the other side of the field asteroids, 50 massive rocks began to move, pulled by artificial gravity towards the Vexery fleet. At first, Vexery didn't notice. They were focused on the human ships. Then, a sensor officer on Admiral Zrax's flagship cried out in alarm. Sir, the asteroids are moving. They are on a collision course with our ships. Zrax looked on in shock. On his screen, he saw huge rocks speeding towards his fleet. Evasive maneuvers, he shouted. But it was already too late. The narrow path through the asteroid field was a trap. Now the Vexery ships were crowded together and had little room to maneuver. The first asteroid, nearly a kilometer wide, collided with a group of Vexery cruisers. The ships shattered like glass. More asteroids followed, each destroying dozens of enemy ships. "Stand back," Strax ordered. "All ships retreat." The Vexery fleet attempted to escape, but became trapped by their own numbers and the ongoing meteor storm created by human technology. From his ship, John Miller watched as the mighty Vexery fleet was destroyed by rocks moving at incredible speeds. "This is Captain Miller in command of Earth," he reported. "Operation Thermopylae is a success. The Vexery fleet is in disarray." In the command center, officers applauded. But Admiral Carter remained focused. "Order all ships to attack," she ordered. "Don't let them regroup." The human fleet advanced, firing at the confused and damaged Vexery ships. It was no longer a battle, but a rout. 2 months after the Battle of the Asteroid Field, Captain John Miller was in the Great Hall of the Galactic Council. The room was packed with representatives of every species in the galaxy. All eyes were on the human officer. "The war with the Vexery Empire is over," John announced to the silent room. "Yesterday, Supreme Commander Gorktaz signed a peace treaty with Earth. The Vexery have agreed to return all captured human territories and to pay for the reconstruction of our damaged colonies." Whispers spread through the hall. The mighty Vexery, defeated by a species that had only been in space for 15 years. It seemed impossible. Ambassador Kesdok, representing what was left of the Vexery leadership, remained taciturn and silent. His once proud posture was now bent by the shame of defeat. The Vexery lost nearly 70% of their fleet in the failed attack on Earth and the battles that followed. The Silverskin Council leader spoke. "This council recognizes Earth's new status in galactic affairs. Human victory changed many things." John nodded. He knew what the alien meant. The balance of power had changed. Species that had lived under Vexery control for centuries now declared independence. The old order was crumbling. "Earth didn't want this war," John said clearly. "We came to the stars in search of friendship and knowledge. But when attacked, we defend ourselves as any species would." He looked directly at the council members who mocked humans for valuing peace. "Humans dub like war," John continued. "Not because we are afraid or because we are weak. We don't like war because we understand it. It's a terrible cost, better than most. Our history is full of conflicts that almost destroyed us. We learned these lessons the hard way." The council hall was completely silent now. Each alien was listening intently. "Earth proposes a new galactic charter," said John. "One that protects the rights of all species, not just the strongest. The one who stops the powerful from attacking the weak." He described the main points of the charter: mutual defense agreements, fair trade rules, and a new council structure where all species had equal votes. Many board members they felt uncomfortable. The old system favored them. But they also saw what happened to the Vexery when they defied the humans. Nobody wanted to be next. After the meeting, John was approached by Ambassador Kistok. "The Vexery seemed smaller somehow, its scales duller than before. You humiliated my people, human," Kistok said calmly, "something no species has done in 1,000 years." John shook his head. "That was not our goal. We just wanted to live in peace." "We misunderstand your species," Vexery admitted. "When you spoke of peace, we heard weakness. We did not understand that his desire for peace came from strength and not from fear." John looked the alien in the eyes. "My people have a saying. If you want peace, prepare for war. Earth has been preparing for 15,000 years. We just hoped we would never need to use this knowledge." As John returned to his ship, diplomat Laura Hayes joined him. Together, they spent weeks negotiating the peace treaty and the new galactic charter. "Do you think this will last?" Laura asked. "This new peace." John looked up at the stars visible through the station windows. "It will be if we work on it. The galaxy now knows that humans don't like war, but will fight if necessary. Only this knowledge can maintain peace for generations." Back on Earth, Admiral Susan Carter was with President Clark at a memorial service for those who died in the war. Thousands of names were projected into the air above them, a sobering reminder of the cost of victory. "Was it worth it?" the president asked softly. Susan looked at the names of the fallen. "They gave their lives so that humanity could live in peace among the stars. I think they would say it was worth it." When the ceremony ended, Susan looked up at the night sky. The stars no longer seemed strange and threatening. Humanity has earned its place among them, not only by force of arms, but by the wisdom of using that force sparingly. The galaxy mocked humans for not liking war, but in the end, it was exactly that quality. Understand the true cost of war and seek to avoid it. This made humans such formidable warriors when peace was no longer an option. The lesson was clear to everyone. Those who truly understand the horrors of war are often the most dangerous when forced to fight. Yu